Do you know about Association of Indian Management Schools? It's a 34-year-old networking body of B schools in India, having a membership of about 600 top management institutions. AIMS focuses on professionalization of management education, protects interests of B schools, represents management institutions at national and international forums, financially supports members in academic events, funds research projects on management, disseminates management-related knowledge through its annual Management Education Convention, conferences, seminars, roundtables and workshops, organizes free weekly webinars on knowledge sharing and inspiring young leaders sessions for management faculty and students, supports B schools in admissions through Atma, AIMS test for management admissions. Visit https://atmaims.com for more details. Publishes a biannual AIMS Journal of Management. Visit https://aimsjournal.com for more details. Circulates a quarterly e-newsletter on AIMS activities. Conducts workshops on case writing. Encourages AIMS members to be part of decision-making processes as members of chapter management committees and the executive board. Encourages students' participation in free weekly quiz competitions by providing support to interested institutions. Facilitates networking and interaction among B schools. Why would you like to remain a non-member of AIMS? Pay a very low one-time membership fee and enjoy many lifetime benefits. Visit https://aims.org.in for more details. AIMS is conducting a national-level management entrance test, Atma, which is approved by Ministry of Education, Government of India, and recognized by AICTE, New Delhi. Atma is an entrance exam for admissions on all India basis to the MB, MMS, PGDM, MCA programs, subject to local regulations. Participate in Atma and get lot of benefits. There is an appeal to all the management institutes to participate in Atma before 10th December 2023. Exam registrations for 18th February 2024 has already been started. So, don't waste time. Visit https://atmaims.com for more details. AIMS is conducting a national-level management entrance test, Atma, which is approved by Ministry of Education, Government of India, and recognized by AICTE, New Delhi. Atma is an entrance exam for admissions on all India basis to the MB, MMS, PGDM, MCA programs, subject to local regulations. Participate in Atma and get lot of benefits. There is an appeal to all the management institutes to participate in Atma before 10th December 2023. Exam registrations for 18th February 2024 has already been started. So, don't waste time. Visit https://atmems.com for more details.
Ashok sir. Sir, shall we start?
I am ready. Probably you have to talk to Dr. Joshi, sir.
Okay.
Okay, you
Devasis,
can
sir?
start, madam. You can start, please. Please start.
Okay. Good afternoon, one and all. I am Pratima Burh, Assistant Professor from Department of Business Management, Fakir University, and moderator of this session. On behalf of Association of Indian Management School, I welcome our speaker, our respected faculty members, dignitaries, and dear participants in the knowledge sharing session on managing digital disruption, the new mantra of business. Digital disruption has become a hindrance in the path of business in current scenario. Managing it tactfully is the only way of embracing success to the unholding business. And thus, digital transformation is a fundamental reality for business today. Concluding here, now I would like to invite our respected speaker introduction about Sir. Sir Dr. Ashok Kumar Das is currently working in the Department of Business Administration at Ravenshaw University. Sir has obtained his PhD from Utkal University in the area of branding. Prior to joining university, Sir had served reputed business school for 15 long years. Before joining academics, Sir has also had a stint in corporate for 8 years. His teaching competency has backed him many prestigious visiting assignments in top B schools. Dr. Das has also published extensively in referred journals and has been invited as resource person in many seminars, conferences, FDPs. Sir has also presented research papers in mainly highly acclaimed national and international conferences and seminars. Sir is a sort of corporate trainer in areas of branding and CRM. Sir has also trained professionals from organizations like DRDO, NRRI, UBI, Indian Post, and many more. Sir is currently a member of ISTD, National Council, Treasurer, AIMS, Odisha, besides being in other professional associations. Sir is also an advisor to many more few startups. Sir, I take the privilege to welcome you to this webinar on behalf of AIMS. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pratima Burh, madam from Fakir University, being so nice and kind to me.
Sir, you can proceed. Sir,
am I audible now?
Thank you, sir.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, you're audible.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show.
Sir, you're audible.
Yeah,
sir, you're clearly audible.
Yes. Thank you. Welcome to the show. We are here for a very interesting topic, managing digital disruption, the new mantra of business. Before I start, let me have the pleasure of showing my respect and regards to the dignitaries present on this particular occasion. The moderator, madam, has been so nice and kind to me in giving me an introduction, which probably I do not deserve. He has been extraordinarily nice to me. And I am really privileged that such a prestigious organization like AIMS has reposed faith on me to try and deliver a talk on a session like knowledge sharing session, which they really periodically carry out. And I am really happy that we have got faculty members and students from all across the country who are eager to listen and eager to really gather knowledge about such a very interesting and important topic like how do you manage digital disruption and how does it really affect the business. So before I really go and try and talk about the digital disruption, let me really sound a little bit sarcastic. Probably people might really take offense. Sir, don't you feel that disruption is a pretty negative sounding term? Shouldn't you have used a more positive term like, innovative transformation, something of that sort? Well, I chose this deliberately to really disrupt your thinking process. We are really so happy, so privileged to really try to sail in our life and let that be a kind of a stop. Let us really try and take a pause and think about how far we have moved in life, how far the businesses has really moved in the realm of doing business, and how exactly they should not be doing business. That is going to be the point of discussion for the next 45 minutes or 50 minutes. So let's understand what exactly digital disruption is. I think the learned faculty members and well-informed students from all diaspora, they are not really new to this topic. They are day in, day out really involving themselves in this kind of disruptive activities. But my point of concern for today's discussion is going to hover around how does it really affect the world of business? Does it really affect? If it affects, then how exactly the business are stepping up to really try to take lessons from it? What lessons are going to be learned, and whether this is really going to be helping the business in success, or they are really going to be bringing them crashing down? So these are all the apprehensions which might be really going to be a point of deliberation by the learned participants in this particular session. India is targeting in 2026 a $1 trillion economy. It's not a news to anyone in the participating team here. It's not a big news, but what is big news is how do we really go about the business of achieving that $1 trillion economy? What disruption has got to do with it? And more precisely, what digital disruption has got to do with it? That is going to be again a point of contention, which the esteemed members are also going to be trying to take and ponder about. The value of already available goods and services, as well as whole markets or sectors, might be significantly impacted because the market themselves, whole business models, and the companies that operate inside them must all be re-evaluated and re-valued. This is why it is called disruption. Now I am answering why I really chose this word disruption, which might be sounding offensive to many of you, because we are going for a massive turn. We are going for a sea change, a complete kind of a turnaround in the way business is really been performing. So when you talk about disruption, let's understand what exactly disruption is going to do, or what specifically digital disruption is going to do to the world of business. Think of some examples that you all comfortably embrace. For example, the subscription economy, which is a part of business model employed by Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix, which has generated a complete disruption in the media and entertainment sectors by altering how business access content and how advertising monetizes it. Don't you feel that Amazon and Netflix have completely changed the entire entertainment industry? I think the answer to that is a big resounding yes. They have changed it for kind of, it's a kind of irreversible change, you can say. So why does it happen? Why people are really going to be thinking that, well, this is not a temporary phenomenon. This phenomena is going to stay and stay forever. The more disruption that it brings in, the more excitement it really brings into the market, the more excitement that it brings into the customers. And of course, the more excitement it brings into the world of entire kind of business activities being performed all across the globe. That is pretty interesting, and that is also pretty challenging as well. It might be sounding interesting to people who are the Gen Z kind of people who are trying to make a mark in the field, but it is very disturbing to the already set or established kind of businesses. You go to any taxi operator, you ask him, how exactly have you been affected by the entry of Uber and Ola? He will really try to cut a sorry figure and say, yes, it has really affected my very comfortable way of doing business. I was going about my business in a very nonchalant way, and I was pretty happy because I was really getting good kind of customers. I was making merry and really getting good business at the end of the day. What really happened? He got the shock of his life. He got a big jolt. The jolt was when Ola entered and Uber entered and completely transformed the way the taxi people were really doing their businesses. I'll give another example of that, of the film photography and the photo processing industries. They were both impacted by the digital camera sector, and they have been so well impacted that this change is really not going to be a permanent change. People are no more willing to go back to those old-fashioned way of really trying to take a photograph and all. Kodak is out, Nikon is out, and many more people are really going to be out of this market pretty soon. So this is what disruption can do to the business. So if the business is not really going to be taking care of it now, it can probably really not take care of it ever. The fourth example that I am going to be giving you is the growth of electronic reading and how it has changed the publishing and print sectors. Now you have a Kindle, you are putting it in your pocket and moving around, and you are reading your favorite novels, favorite books, and stuff like that. Do you really feel like going back to the old school of thought where you are going to be carrying a baggage of books and trying to move around with it? No way. You're not going to do it anymore. Why? because you as a customer has embraced the new technology, and the tech manufacturing companies, they have also made it pretty easy for you guys. And the most lethal thing that has really happened in the last 10, 15 years is the emergence of online businesses. They have completely radically transformed the way people live their life. That is an unpardonable thing if you are still figuring it out, that well, how did it come and how it has really swept me away. That is something which you have got to all think about. Now let us understand, when online meets offline and style meets substance and machine to machine meets human to human, is when you see that a complete disruption has really happened. And as we people, maybe I'm too old for this, but still, for the young generation who are part of this particular webinar, we are living in uncertain times. Businesses are forced to rewrite their business operations and plans to accommodate the unpredictability of the current world. Why the current world has become unpredictable? It is not that it has really automatically become unpredictable. It has become unpredictable because few players have decided to make it more unpredictable, make it more fragile, and make it more dynamic. So immediate is the word of the hour. It's not that I'm going to really figure it out 2 years down the line or 5 years down the line. Those days are gone. Now it is here and now. I have got to really find out a solution here and now. It is now or never kind of a business that we are really trying to thinking about. And digital medium is the only medium which is really, enabling this kind of transition. Okay, old methods are not anymore sustainable, and businesses should be really prepared with a strategy to handle digital disruption to fuel their growth. The examples that I have cited and the daily encounters that you are having with this kind of things or this kind of technologies, that is really going to be adding extra kind of food for thought for how exactly you are going to be doing your businesses. You ask any businessman, be it a micro or small or medium or even a large Goliath, you ask all these business people, how exactly are you going to be embracing this kind of change? Some people are paranoid about it. Some people do not know whether there is a way out or not. Some people are really trying to devise their plans and devise their strategies. Some people are yet to figure out what exactly has really happened and how quickly it has really happened. That's very interesting. So when you see the quickness, the fastness with which things are really happening, and before you could really react, you are absolutely swept under the carpet. Now it is a time when you should have a separate division for having this, people who are really well geared up to manage your digital disruption thing. I think the organization should really try and think of creating one complete department called Digital Disruption Department. This is going to be taking care of the current technology, the influx of current technology from abroad, from any part of the globe for that matter, and how as a business you have got to really try to figure it out, or else you are really going to be dying a natural death. That is what you have got to really understand. Well, this is not a word of caution. This is a practical thing which is really going to be observed by all the people who are really alert. Digital disruption can happen at any time in any industry, and its impact on an enterprise can be adverse. Let it sink into you first. It can happen anytime in any industry. You can't say, look, I am into brick and mortar, I am not going to be affected. I believe in the old-fashioned way of doing business, and because I was getting success out of it, so I continue to get success out of it. You talk about any kind of industry, be it automobile, be it your agriculture, be it your telecom, or be it for that matter, any industry in this country or even abroad, you will find that all the industries at any given moment of time has been impacted by the digital impact. There is no escaping this. Digital disruption cannot be predicted. This can never be predicted, and disruption cannot be predicted, and businesses should not take lightly the importance of digital disruption. Because you cannot predict it, you cannot really have a time frame for it. So you have got to be really ultra cautious in how do you really try to go ahead and really try to embrace it. You don't have any other choices. You have got to understand, well, this is the way the world is evolving. This is the way the world is planning to evolve. And if I'm not really going to be joining force, then I am the only one who is going to be left behind. I should be really trying to be marching on with all my assets, with all my plans, with all my flowcharts, with all my kind of answers to the tsunami that is really coming across me. It is a kind of tsunami, you can say. Either you survive or you do not. It is as simple as that. There is no middle path, you can say. One may estimate that in a worst scenario, disruption can occur a year or 5 years ahead in the future. Every year is going to be a year where you are not supposed to be celebrating. You can also think of, well, this might be the end of the story for me. So, are you really going to go for a 5 year horizon of a plan, or are you really going to go for the 1 year horizon of a plan? Probably 2030 onwards, we are really going to be trying to bring it down to maybe a 3 month kind of a time period for you, where you are either going to be stepping up or sipping out. Choice is yours. Either you sip up or you sip out. So you do not want to really get sipped out. The only thing that you really want to do is you are going to be prolonging your stay in the entire business horizon. How do you prolong that stay? How do you really try to prolong your stay is going to be decided by who you are, how seriously you have taken this disruption stuff, and whether you have been able to take it in your stride or not, whether you are good enough for this or you are not, whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you are ready for it or not ready for it. This is not going to wait for you. And you have got to be really very cautious, very alert that this may happen to me because it has already happened to someone else in some different kind of industry. You cannot really take the kind of shelter in the fact that, well, this is me, this is my industry which is really running for last 50 years. No disruption can ever stop my way of doing businesses. To ask Mr. Munjal of the erstwhile Hero Honda, he said once that, well, I'm pretty happy the way business is being done. I do not really want to have any kind of change because I already have a kind of reputation. I already have a kind of market share. I'm pretty happy because I am the number one player in the entire two-wheeler market segment in India. Then suddenly comes the news, well, Honda is going to be breaking away. That is because Honda decided that let me really go and get into the market with all my own technologies, with all my own avenues, with all my brand names, everything. Now I am going to be ruling the market. What happened to Hero Honda people? Now they got separated. Now the next time around, you really made Mr. Munjal and asked him, Mr. Munjal, what really happened to your prediction that, well, you are going to be the number one in the market for as long as possible? He was oblivious to the fact that disruption can happen. Somebody might really try to get out of your kind of a relationship or try to really, kind of look for greener pastures. And this really might be putting a big brake on your progress. So you cannot really predict it because it may happen pretty quick, like I told you. Well, one may also doubt the severity of the disruption. Is it really going to be impacting it this quick, this intensity? That is what really people really, kind of strongly resist. Well, it might be pretty slow kind of a process. It might not really affect me today. It might not really affect me tomorrow. It might really take 10, 20 years. By this time, my business is really going to be venturing out into something else. Well, doesn't really, happen that way. Doesn't really go that way. So the severity of the disruption is something what you do not have to doubt. If you are affected to thumbnail. Like, there is no assumption that, well, it is really going to be happening for at least a decade or so. No, not a decade. A decade is too long a period in the life of digital disruption. That is too long. So you have got to understand the truth is that your business is at risk of disruption anytime in the next 5 months. This is researched data. This is not figment of my imagination. In the next 5 months, anytime the risk of disruption is really looking at you on your face. So rather than trying to predict and prepare for disruption, it is ideal to really try to first be prepared and wait for the right moment to leverage its several benefits. So we are going to be always, a little bit cautious, and at the same time, cannot really close our eyes to the fact that this can also bring in a lot of exciting time for us, a lot of exciting opportunities for us. Why always try to think that this is really going to be having a negative repercussion in our business? May not be. If you are smart enough, if you can really predict future, probably you do not have to face the wrath of it. That is what you have got to understand as a true businessman. And this is what this digital disruption is all about. That is a fundamental shift in business models, industry, market, process technologies, expectations, and behavior of consumers. Fine, you can say, look, my business model is very robust. My industry is foolproof. My process technology is, everything is absolutely done, done correctly. But whatever the expectations and behavior of consumers, you do not control that. The consumer's mind is a black box. This has been told many times. Okay, you are not going to be shaping the way the consumer is going to be responding to your kind of things. If you are going to be making yourself redundant, the consumer is going to the first person on this planet who is going to be really having a complete thorough run away from your company, away from your product, away from your offerings, away from your services, away from you, because of new digital products, services, and businesses. Consumers are not going to be loyal to you because they were really getting served by your company for last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. There is going to be a complete shift. Just because my grandfather was using this particular product, he was loyal to this particular company and buying from this particular store, buying from, at this particular kind of price point and all, I will also stick to that. You talk to the new generation of consumers today, maybe the students who have joined over here, they are really going to be looking back, reflecting back on their own kind of purchase behaviors and all. They will also understand and appreciate the fact that they are no more loyal to a particular brand, a particular company, a particular store, or a particular individual. They are looking for value. And you, as a disrupted company, cannot offer the same kind of value which is really being offered by companies who are more agile, who are more alert, who are more convinced regarding the changes that is happening around them, and they have really taken steps to really try to embrace those kind of changes. That is what you have got to understand. So these innovative new businesses, technologies, and services can impact current offering in the industry and disrupt the way traditional businesses, the industry functions. Okay. So what are the traditional businesses? Are they going to stay, or are they really going to be redundant? Well, opinions are divided. People have got different opinion regarding whether this is going to stay or this is not going to stay. This industry is going to go for a complete kind of a transformation, or the industry is going to be absolutely, kind of out of this particular market, or what? Well, you might be agreeing with me. Well, as long as human civilization is there, there are going to be fundamental needs, the fundamental wants and desires of people, which really keeps on changing, of course, in a span of 10, 20 years' time. But think of the businesses which are still alert, still understand that the consumer is really going to be taking his mind off, taking his eye off, taking his choices off from my company if I do not listen to him. Okay, so because you are having a traditional business, you cannot really try and take chance with the consumer sentiment anymore. The consumer is more vulnerable, more fragile, more dynamic than ever. Why? Because he's loaded with information, he's loaded with competing products, he's loaded with lot of choices to make from, and he is not really going to be sitting idle. He is really going to be constantly checking it out. You try to launch a new product and you try to understand the response of the customer. They are far more eager to experiment. Maybe we complain that they really do not have a lot of attention span and all, but that is a pretty old-fashioned way of really trying to evaluate a modern-day customer. He is really going to be evaluating you on the basis of the value that you are able to deliver against his money. It is pretty simple kind of equation, unless and of course you are really talking about the so-called high-esteem kind of products and services. Otherwise, the consumer is more obsessed with the value that he gets out of the penny that he spends. Sudden disruption makes the companies either phase out of business or empowers them to focus on changing their modus operandi by re-evaluating their approach and outcomes. What does this really do is, either you really try to jump into it, or you really try to, it's a kind of, sink or swim kind of an option for you. Well, if the disruption is sudden, I think my voice is audible, no? Can someone please confirm me?
Yes, sir, you are clearly audible.
Yeah, thank you so much. So if there is a sudden disruption, sudden is sudden, that might be really kind of, taking the company's, seat on the fence, not anymore. Okay, you have either to rush to the left or rush to the right, because the disruption is staring at your face. Okay, now you are going to be either, getting into the fold, or you are going to be getting out of it. Okay, so you have got to really evaluate your approach and your outcomes. How do you really approach this kind of a change? If the technology is really coming and it is really coming with a speed, and I am really going to be left behind, can I afford to do it for long? No, not for long. Think of your old-fashioned way of really trying to go to a bank and withdraw money. It may sound pretty old-fashioned, but it's a fact. How many of you really go back to the bank to withdraw your money by putting that, having that, what do you call that, withdrawal slip in your hand and being in a queue, and the fellow at the teller counter really shouts your token number 737, and you suddenly feel pretty elated that your number has come or your turn has come, and you go and approach the teller counter with a very cautious kind of a pace, and you do not understand that you have really stood there for about 45 minutes, 1 hour to get your own money out of the bank. I have not gone to my bank in the last 5 to 6 years. My transactions is really being done by the latest methods, whether it is Paytm or Phone Pay or Google Pay or internet banking or something of that sort. I think more of us who are really listening to this particular kind of program, they are all really going to be hesitant to go to the bank the way, let's say, 10, 15 years back, people used to rush to the bank. This is because the banks have also understood that, and they are really not entertaining customers to really come to the banks anymore. You go to Cuttack Bank for doing depositing a check and withdrawing money from that, they are going to be really, putting a fine on you, because they expect that the consumer should really not come to the bank teller counter anymore. The persons employed in the bank should really be spending their time more on more productive things rather than doing this routine, kind of transactional kind of things, transactional kind of activities. Business have to understand the importance of digital disruption and be prepared for what may come as a first step to understand how digital disruption will impact a business. If you understand, you get prepared for it, probably you are taking the first step and taking it in the right direction. Now let us now talk about history. Well, if you really try to go back in your memory lane and try to really, get all the history right, probably you will understand the automobile has replaced the horse and buggy. Electric lights have replaced candles and oil lamps. Mobile phones ended landline superiority, and your video has killed the radio star. Mobile phones have ended the supremacy of landline. No need to really elaborate that. We all are obsessed with our mobile phones. We are going to be committing suicide if we lose contact with our friends, through a mobile phone. This is a reality which we all have got to admit and accept. Okay, so how to prepare and survive a digital disruption? Let's understand that. And do you really have to do changes when it is not really necessary? Well, the answer to that is a big no. You don't have to make changes when it is not necessary. Just because you understand that there is a technology which is really going to be coming and thwarting your business activities, don't just try to drop the towels as of now. You have to really not make any changes when it is not necessary. Understand whether the change that you are going to make is really necessary or not for your business, for your PLC at the time, PLC's product lifecycle at the time, and you have got to understand the way the industry is really moving, whether it is moving in the right direction or not. That is what you have got to understand. Don't just jump into it because your rival has really got into it. Well, you might be thinking, well, isn't it a kind of a contradiction that, well, you are in one breath telling that, come on, go and embrace the new technology, go and accept the digital kind of stuff and all. And at the same time, you are also telling that, look, don't jump into it because someone else has gone for it. The fact is, you understand your business inside out like nobody else can probably understand. So you have got to really try to understand your own strengths and weaknesses, your own superiority and your own kind of inferiority in the entire dimension of doing business and all. So you as a kind of a business owner, or you as a kind of businessman or businesswoman, have got to take that call. Just do not try to go for changes because it is somebody else being doing it. Accept and embrace modern technology. You cannot be aloof to modern technologies anymore. I am not supposed to tell, I do not know how to really present through Zoom. This is ridiculous. This is something which nobody is really going to be accept. Okay, now you have got to really try and change your ways, amend yourself, and try to really understand the world is moving with the latest in technology, and the technology is really becoming so fast that it is making all the earlier products redundant in pretty quick time. 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G to 6G. Look at the number of years that it has taken. From the black and white TV to the color to LED to LCD to blah blah blah, right? Okay. Now this is moving pretty quick. And if you are really going to be still stuck in the black and white TV era or 2G or 3G kind of phone era, then you are either a god or you are a beast. You are not a normal human being with normal kind of expectation from the market. So the bitter truth is that an organization can only successfully handle and withstand digital disruption when it has reached a particular degree of technical maturity. That technical maturity is really needed because you do not have the wherewithals, you do not have the process ready, and you are still figuring it out. And you now understand that, well, everybody else has really jumped into it, let me also try to get into it. No, that is not the right way, that is not the right style, and more importantly, that is not the right time for you. You have to understand whether I have reached the technical maturity or not. If you haven't, don't get into it. This is my sincere advice to all the would-be business persons, like the student sections or people who have got some taste with business and all. Now, let us understand it benefits to be always in a state of digital transformation, or at the very least in a digital flux. If you cannot really embrace digital technologies or the digital disruption, you cannot do it. Rather than being out of the digital transformation, be at the stage of digital flux, where you are going to be really taking a close look at what are your benefits. What if you don't do it? What do you lose if you do not really go full throttle about it? So you have got to really understand that this is not limited to your business and your technology only. This is how the entire globe is stepping up. And you are not going to be a successful businessman if you do not really follow the global trend. That is something which you have got to really remember. And of course, how do you really devise your strategies or kind of drive your own operations? You can only do that by using data. What is the importance of data here for digital disruption to really be happening successfully? You have to understand that your company's response to market disruptions will be quicker, more precise, and more agile. The better its data analysis and integration capabilities are. Your data analysis and your data integration capabilities should be really far more superior. You are not really going to be left with the kind of resources where you do not have enough data and you cannot really have the knowledge or the wisdom to transform the data into real tangible information which is really going to be useful for your company. That is what you want to understand. Well, if a disruption is customer centric, then be customer centric. Small advice, but good advice. If digital disruption is really going the customer way, go that way, because it might be really hurting your own sentiment. It might be really hurting your own preparedness. But the fact is, it is really going to be helping the cause of the customer for which your business is really revolving around. Okay, so if it is customer centric, close your eyes, go and go for it, because you cannot really try to deprive the customer for a pretty long period of time. That is what my sincere suggestion to you all is. And well, why is digital disruption a good thing? Is it always a bad thing, like we have been propagating for last 30 minutes? Well, it also increases your customer satisfaction. Digital disruption spurs businesses to the challenge of today's consumers by staying ahead of the tech curve, incorporating the latest changes faster. You have got to understand that you have a consumer who is more hungry than you. He is hungry because he wants to get the latest. He wants to get the best. He is not hungry to stay loyal to you. You are not really going to be promising him, well, I might be really going for this, and you have got to wait. No, he is not really in a position to wait. He is always moving at a faster speed, at a faster pace than you. And you have got to keep pace with his changing needs and changing wants and changing desires and changing, kind of expectations from you. Well, what you can do is, you can leverage this into more outstanding sales by getting insights into the consumer buying habits. The consumer is changing. You are not really going to be remaining redundant. You are going to be keeping pace with the change. And with the change, you are going to be understanding the consumer more than ever before. And with that, your sales figure might just kind of have a spiraling growth. Okay. The point is, The consumer is really at the helm of your affairs and all. He is going to be deciding and dictating to you tomorrow morning, go do this. If you don't do this, I'm not with you. It is as simple as that. Because he is now more empowered than ever. He is now more dictator than ever because of the very simple reason that he has got plenty of options, plenty of choices, plenty of things to really try to lay his hands on. So you have got to really try to understand that this can be a good thing. Well, apart from that, the consumer-centric kind of attitude that you should be having, it also helps a company grow. Some species of sharks must keep swimming or they die. So you want to be that kind of a shark, which is a shark by its very kind of nomenclature of it, and you have to keep swimming. Or if you cannot keep on swimming, you are supposed to have a death. Okay, a company at rest is a company falling behind the competition. Like I gave you the example of Munjal and Hero Honda and all. You talk about many companies in the history who have really fallen wayside because they have really allowed the competition to flourish at a bigger pace, at a smarter pace. That's purely because of the fact that disruption brings about radical change, pulling companies out of their comfort zone and moving them forward. The companies like Amul, the companies like the Tatas, the companies like the people who are still doing the kind of ruling in the market, they have started ruling the market from last 70, 80, 100 years purely because of the fact that they have really pulled up their socks. They have really understood that the market is going for a complete transition, and we have got to really try to keep pace with the change. If you cannot keep pace with the change, then we are going to be meeting the same fate as is really happened with other kind of companies. So that is what you have got to really understand and really try to make way for. It also evolves and improves the workplace. Digital disruption brings innovations. I think you all will agree with me that it always brings new kind of culture, new kind of technology to the workplace, new kind of softwares, collaboration software, mobile devices, cloud technology that have already kind of driven the digital disruption kind of a thing. So what you really try to do is you are trying to completely transform the way your functioning is really being done. Whether you are employing it in marketing and sales, or you're doing it in your HR division of it, or you're trying to bring it with your R&D, research and development, not a reduction and reduction. So whether you are doing it for research and development or anything of that sort, you have got to really try to bring in the latest in technology, because that is also going to be making you more efficient. And more importantly, that is also going to be helping you to focus more on the effectiveness of your organization. You are going to be choosing to do what your organization is supposed to do for its not only survival but its own growth as well. So, what are the elements of digital disruption? It might be sounding good for the academic interest, but it has got its own practical implications as well. The elements of digital disruption can really be broken into 4 distinct elements, like technology, business, industry, and society. Technology, we all understand that invention, usage, and design and stuff like that. Businesses like covers marketing, development, delivery, pricing, everything. What is more important to understand is that it also is going to be affecting the society. The movements, the culture, the habits, which are really having far-reaching conclusions, far-reaching repercussions on the consumers, on the masses as such. What I really understand by this is that this is really going to be changing the lifestyle of people and helping them to aspire more, to aspire for greater things, bigger things, smarter things. And when the aspiration of people by and large really goes up in the ladder of expectation, you as a company have got to try and meet the expectation of this kind of consumers. This is going to be a complete transformation of the habits of the people who are going to be expecting and demanding more from you. Expecting is fine. You may choose to fulfill their expectation, or you may choose not to fulfill their expectation. But when they demand it and you don't really deliver it, then they are definitely going to be switching to your best competitor just available nearby. Okay, now the world has really shrunk into a small village where I can order anything sitting at the luxury of my home from any place and get it delivered to me in 3-4 kind of working days. That's it. So you cannot tell me, look, this is not available and that is not available. Well, I used to really joke with my friends and colleagues Well, the Ford Motor Company, when it really came up with the car, and Henry Ford was the one who really declared to the world, you can buy any car as long as the color is black. That means he was having the arrogance to declare to the world, look, I am the only company who is really manufacturing car now, and you really don't have any other option. I decide the color of my car, and it is going to be black. And you poor guys don't have any sense of choice. You have to buy a black car. Imagine 2023 or 2024, Henry Ford is supposed to get out of his grave and declare again to the world, you can buy any car as long as the color is black. People are going to say, look, I want my car 20% white, 10% black, 30% pink, the rest, all the colors mixed up. Can you deliver this to me, Mr. Ford? If no, go back to your grave. The consumers have become more demanding now, and you are not going to be fooling around with the customers anymore because the sense of monopoly is absolutely dead now. So, moving on, companies that want to grow and succeed in the face of digital disruption must adopt the following elements. Develop a consistent company-wide digital culture, like I was stressing, in the beginning. The company must move as one, embracing technology. Your whole company is going to having a system where technology is given the priority over anything else, and you can't really stop at that. You have got to again create new customer experiences and produce unique outcomes. The customer is always greedy, he's always hungry, he's looking for choices, he's looking for experiences. His today's experience is going to be better than his yesterday's experience, and he has the expectation that my tomorrow's experience is going to be better than my today's experience. You have got to give it to the customer. You can't really try and take shelter in the fact that, well, this is the best that I can do, whether you like it or not. It's like the customer retaliating back. Well, this is what I cannot really accept from you, whether you like it or not. I am really going to be running away from you. So you have to give them unique outcomes. Disruptive technologies bring new serving customers and exciting new results. Well, you might be thinking, the emergence of this, Ola and Uber and this, Zomato and stuff like that, and all this Amazon and this, Flipkarts and all, have they not really created a complete transformation in the way we live our lives? Of course, yes. Imagine a guy living in a metro and rushing for his office at 8 o'clock in the morning and returning back home at, let's say, 8:30 or 9 in the evening. He doesn't really have time to really go for shopping and all. Now, this is a kind of situation which has really been exploited and exploited fully well by all these online firms and all. What they have done is they have really made your life very easy and very, very comfortable and all. It may sound pretty archaic, but the fact is, you have now really got habituated with this kind of thing. So there is going to be a shift from time-based decisions to data-driven decisions. Now, what is a time-based decision and data-driven decision? Look, this is a decision that I am going to be taking not based on my hunch, not based on my gut feel. I am going to be really taking a decision because my numbers speak for it. I have a number which tells me consumers in this particular territory, 60% of them are more prone to use my product than use my competing products. 70% or 60% of customers who tell to use my product are going to be preferring this particular kind of price point. And 80% of people who are going to be using this particular kind of, experimenting with this particular kind of price point are going to be preferring this particular kind of a color. I have got every kind of analytics drawn in front of me. I am going to be using this analytics to really understand and try and go deep into the psyche of the customer to really try to figure out how exactly thinks and feels and behaves like. This is really possible because of the kind of emergence of digital technology, nothing else. It also incorporates new technology and business models into existing services and products. Work with partners to create and innovate new procedures and policies where teamwork is the key. This is something pretty interesting, and the source from where I got it is IBM analysis. It tells you one thing for sure. How do you manage the digital disruption? To do that, you have got to diagnose first. What is it that will troubles me? What can probably trouble me? Define what is going to be the course of action of mine. What exactly is the problem that really stares me at my face? Take a decision. This is what I have got to do, and then deliver. Well, changing nature of competition is a two-way process. Broad access to analytical tools and approaches is again a two-way process. which really helps you diagnose, define, decide, and deliver. And technology-driven strategic opportunity, that is again a two-way process. Your ability to prototype at low cost is something which is really exclusive to you, and your importance of technical feasibility and your pace of change is irreversible. Once you have gone for change, once you have embraced change, you cannot really come back to your original position. If you are thinking that, well, this is for a short-term phenomena and I can always come back to my original style of doing business, once you are into it, you are thoroughly, fully, totally committed into it. There is no going back. Now, let's understand why digital disruption is important. Well, if you are a smart company, if you really try to think that your company should really be having the pink health all the times, then you are always looking for your areas of improvement. You are not a stagnant or redundant kind of company which really doesn't have any kind of future plans, doesn't have a sense of purpose of existence. So you have got to understand and analyze your areas of improvement, like where exactly am I really lacking vis-a-vis my competitor, vis-a-vis the number one in the market, vis-a-vis the best player in the entire planet, whoever that might be, but you are going to be benchmarking yourself against the best in the industry, irrespective of geography. So you are also going to be enhancing your products and services, understand consumer needs, and unearth existing opportunities to fuel business growth. Now, see, when you go for growth, when you go for your business to really go for a massive growth, then you are not really going to be happy with your existing opportunities. You are really trying to figure out, can I really go for more? Can I really get more? Can I really create more for my customers? Can I really create more for my shareholders, for my stakeholders? Okay, if you understand that, you have a job which is very clearly cut out, and you cannot really try and take shelter in the fact that, well, I am pretty happy because my worth is this much, and I am really going to be pretty happy because, well, I really do not make any losses. Whereas my rival companies are making losses and profits, and they are in a transition and all. I do not have really any uncertainty really facing me in your future. That is not possible anymore. Digital disruption is often perceived negatively, but in reality, it is a great advantage for businesses that understand and embrace it. Like I told you, if you understand what digital disruption is and why this is really going to be adding value to your entire business proposition, go and embrace it, because this is always not negative. Three key reasons why I feel that this is really going to be pretty healthy, pretty positive for you. It really makes the workforce better. Why? Because you are going to be engaging, increasing the engagement rate and meeting the expectation of the people who are going to be ensuring successful digital transformation. That is understandable. It also enables your growth. Like I told you, with the emergence of AI and ML and AR and VR, these are the kind of things that is really going to be going for a complete transformation initiative in the company. So when you are acting as a company where the growth is enabled and you are really going to march with a growth trajectory, then you really feel that this has really happened because I have not really stopped understanding why digital is really not good for me. I have really understood that digital disruption is always not negative, and I have really taken all the right clues from it, and I have really utilized this for the own growth of my company. And it also enhances, more importantly, the customer satisfaction. Customers want their solutions pretty fast. They want unstinted support from the companies. They want quick solutions. They want easy solutions, and they want kind of everlasting kind of or sustainable kind of solutions. Okay, and like I told you, customer behavior in the digital economy is dynamic. You talk to the young generations of today, they're really moving from product A to product B to product C pretty quick. And I was researching, trying to figure out how quickly people change their mobile phones. And if you really try and talk to the young generations, surprisingly, they change their mobile handsets every 18 months. 18 months, a mobile handset is being changed by a young Indian in this era. What does it really tell? This tells that the consumer is now absolutely going to be obsessed with new things. And by new things, he means the improved things. He is not really going to be switching from A to B if B is identical to A. He is going to be switching from A to A1 and understands that A1 is better than or superior to A. So you have got to really try to paint a scenario where the business understands its customers through data, uses analytics, and draws meaningful insights to satisfy the needs of customers in a far better way. You are going to be getting into the kitchen of a person to understand what she or he cooks. You have got to go to the washroom of a person to understand what soap or detergent powder or detergent liquid that he or she uses. You have got to understand the vacationing habit of a person to really try to figure out where he really goes for vacation routinely, or he really goes at random, how much days he really stays, in that particular kind of place, what kind of money he's really ready to spend on that. You are going to be collecting this information, which might be really useful for you in your future kind of, projecting, or modeling how exactly the consumers are going to be responding to my offers the next time around I really come up with. Okay. What are the risks? If I go by numbers, this is pretty interesting. This is pretty, kind of threatening also. The industry leaders expect that 40% of the incumbent business will vanish or be displaced because of disruption. Okay, now that is not a small number. 40% of the incumbent business will vanish or be displaced because of disruption. What do you do? How do you respond to this? Who these 40% of the incumbent businesses are? How they are going to be really, kind of understanding the importance of digital disruption, whether they understand or not. Are they really knowledgeable about the fact that this is the prediction that we do have? The explosive growth of technologies like cloud computing, AI, ML, mobile computing has made disruption accessible to even smaller companies. Now you go to any small town, you talk to any guy who has got a turnover of maybe just around 5 to 10 crores, and you ask him, are you really comfortable in using this AI and ML and MC and CC and all AR and VR? He will say, yes, come on, yeah, you might be kidding. This is what I have been doing, and this has really been the kind of driver of my growth. This is what is really going to be facing me for last so many years, and my primary success is due to the nice and good use or strategic use of these kind of technologies for my growth only. Today's enterprises are facing the risk from competing smaller organizations or smaller companies that are agile and innovative. Who these smaller companies are who have suddenly become agile and suddenly become innovative? They haven't become suddenly agile or suddenly innovative. They have really come with the strategy of being smarter than you, being more agile than you, and being more innovative than you. Then these monolithic enterprises, they really take the time to make decisions regarding adoption of technology. You talk to any public sector guy, and sorry if I'm really hurting anybody's sentiment here, but the problem is that now the smaller companies, the smarter companies, they are going to be executing them very fast, and they are in a position to disrupt the entire industry mechanism to create a better value chain. They are always obsessed with that fact that this is a better value chain, which is really going to be appreciated by my stakeholder, by my customer, by my supplier, or by my creditor even. Okay. Now the time that is being taken by the big, monolithic enterprises or monolithic organization, that is huge. I do not really have all the time in the world to really wait for your decision to really move from table A to table B to table C. I don't have patience. I am really a restless kind of a kid trying to really figure out, I am going to be having my own unicorn before I really turn 30. This is the pace with which things are really moving, and this is the pace at which things have been moving in the last 10, 15 years in a country like ours. Now things have opened up, and things have really opened up for the young enterprises. Things have really opened up for the young smart kids in the block. Software and technologies are becoming the key differentiator, and more companies are becoming software driven to stay relevant, survive, and ensure business continuity. Software and technology, this is at the core of the business. You are going to be relevant if you are driven by softwares and technologies which are kind of updated and all. And if you as a company do not understand the importance of these technologies, then your supply chain, your purchase, your marketing, your service coordination, your HR, your payment processing, and your overall business structure will really suffer. There is no running away from this. There is no escaping from this. You have got to understand that I have no other choice but to adapt to these technologies. So going for solutions in the next 5 minutes or so, 5 ways enterprise can prepare for digital disruption. The first is prepared leadership. No business can survive in the long haul without reinventing and innovating itself. This sounds like a cliche, but the fact is, this is even not being practiced by many organizations. They really don't give it a thought. Well, I have got to really reinvent myself and innovate myself, to really stay relevant. To stay relevant, you must identify the gaps and oversights within the organization that might make the time-tested business model a failure. You are not always going to be sticking to the old-fashioned way of doing business and feel that, well, I am not really going to be losing anything. You think of Ravenshaw of Parley. He had a big brand called Thumbs Up. He decided to really try and sell it off to Coca-Cola because he understood that I do not have the wallet power or the kind of money power to really try and take on a big player like Coke. I cannot really try and take on a fight with this guy. So better, it is wiser for me to really try to get out of this and get into something else where I am really going to be ruling supreme. And he decided, and he came back and started his own business stuff. The rest is history. You think of Hotmail trying to sell itself by Sabir Bhatia to Microsoft. Okay, what he did essentially was he understood that this is the technology which is really going to reach its own kind of logical death phase or the last stage of it. So rather than trying to protect my own baby and trying to feel proud about that this is my brainchild or this is something which I've been nurturing over the years, then trying to sell it off and really make quick money and easy money and good amount of money and try to really invest it somewhere else. That is what people do. Check the legacy system. In a country like India, legacy is something which really gives you a lot of wings. You feel that, well, because I have got a legacy, so this is really going to be a safe option for me. Because comfortable, feeling is something which is really going to be making you more ensconced in your own comfort zone, which is pretty detrimental for your companies or for your organization's growth. Look out for an apt solution. Digital disruption faces a scenario where the organizations are forced to adopt new technologies, and there is no doubt that it is really imperative. But before investing in any technology, it is important to know whether it will meet the organizational expectations or not. Digital adoption platforms like the DAPs can be used, which helps you understand the gaps within your applications and improve them. And the last few things: change now, change gradually. Start gradually. Like I told you, because you might not be having the technical maturity to try to embrace the new kind of technologies. So be ready for it first. Start gradually and strategically preparing for the upcoming disruption. The moment you see the signs, that is a better approach than just jumping into it. Okay, companies like Amazon and Netflix were ahead of their time and started a service that no one knew. They made it. Now, life without Amazon, life without Netflix nowadays for the next, this generation of people is absolutely unthinkable. Now we know how valuable these companies are, and it is all because they adapted to the changing times before the rest of them did it. Amazon is Amazon, absolutely on the top of your mind. Recall, Netflix is Netflix, the dream of every young Indian now. They are obsessed, they are hoodwinked, and they're they're completely into it. Why is it so? Because they were the first mover. They had the first mover advantage in the market. And they are really instrumental in initiating the change that we all are really seeing now with the entry of all this kind of, second pillar, second pair and third pair into the market. Create effective onboarding strategy. Onboarding is the last step in the disruption process. And if you fail here, all the efforts made till now will go in vain. So you have got to create an effective onboarding strategy. If you do not have it, create it now. Having a proper onboarding strategy can go a long way to help your organization achieve success. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for being a nice audience. It was a pleasure speaking to you, a very learned gathering over here. I'm pretty delighted that you all have been staying a lot for the last almost 55 or 56 minutes. Thank you for your time and attention. Over to you, Pratima Madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to take the questions from the audience. Sir, there was a question from Nivedita Mohapatra. Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Sir, there was a question from Nivedita Mohapatra. What are the digital disruption in an organization And how can we measure this disruption?
Could you please repeat?
What are the digital disruptions in an organization and how can we measure these disruptions?
Okay, fine. There is no way in which you can really measure it because quantifying digital disruption is impossible. But yeah, you can have a feel of it. You can understand that yes, it is coming. It's like tsunami coming. Tsunami doesn't really announce you, look, this is going to be the impact of me. This is going to be the damage that I'm going to be doing, or this is going to be the life that is going to be lost, or this is going to be number of vehicles that is going to be kind of blown away. It's not really, like that. But you can see a tsunami coming and you can understand that yes, here is the tsunami and I have got to be really ready for it. Okay. So now the point is, how do you know what kind of disruptions are really happening in the organization? It can really happen in any front, be it your marketing or HR or finance or IT or R&D or whatever. You are doing multiple kind of activities. You can face disruption at any point, any moment, any industry, any organization, any department, and it can really happen without really notice, giving a proper notice. Look, this is what is really going to happen to you tomorrow morning. No, you can sense it. Yes, this is what things are really like. That's it. I believe I have answered that question.
So thank you, sir. Can we have more questions? If anyone wants to clear their query, they can ask questions in the chat box. They can give their questions. Sir, I think they have already clear from your session. They have already heard it and it was clear, I think, because we have no more questions, but we have very good comment as it was very informative sessions and it was very learned sessions and all. Sir,
thank you so much.
Sir, shall we wrap up over here? Since
sure.
It was like Dr. Pradeep Kumar, sir is saying that from our learnings in this very informative and interesting session, one might wonder whether digital disruption is at all a disruption or a boon to a business. So it is.
I think it is the way you look at it. It is your perspective, whether you really take it as a kind of good opportunity or you really try to take it as a kind of threat. It all depends on who you are and how you really take it. If you take it positively, I think you can really make more out of it than really get affected negatively by it. I think this is a kind of blessing for me because, things are changing and it should really go for a change, and change is the only constant. It might sound like a cliche, but the fact is this. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much. It was really enriching and enlightening session. Me being from digital disruption, sir, you have given us a clear purview regarding digital disruption and like you have told us what is digital disruption, elements of digital disruptions, key reasons for the digital disruptions, consumer changing taste, cited us with examples of Tata, Honda, Amul and many more, sir. And also the ways how we can manage this digital disruption. Thank you very much, sir. It was really an informative session and I hope the audience have also got many ideas on the given topic and we hope for many more such webinar sessions in future. I would also like to thank AIMS for giving me the opportunity to moderate the session, and I would also like to give my overall thanks to Dr. Ashok Das, sir, who has invited me for moderating the session. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Devasis, sir, for coordinating with us. And with this, we end the session over here. Thank you, sir. Sir, shall we wrap up?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.